Well, we're here at the CCA workbench, and it's in that time in the show when we like to talk about techniques to catch the poon, the tarpon.
Well, you know, he's the fish that pretty much made Florida famous. You know, the Silver King. He really did. You know, people came down, you know, to the east coast of Florida to catch tarpon, and to the Keys to catch tarpon, and ended up catching sailfish and every other thing. Yeah. But the tarpon was what, you know, started Florida on its path of being, you know, the destination to go saltwater fishing. So, you know, we've got this incredible game fish, you know, swimming close to the shore. It's spawned whole industries, you know, the flats boat industries, and the inshore stuff. You know, so, you know, you like to chase them up and down the beach a lot.
I love chasing them, you know, throughout the whole state of Florida, and I've caught them everywhere in Florida. But you know, when we were talking, Dave, when we were talking about the rigs and techniques, the one thing that came to mind is the Keys is pretty stationary. I mean, you'll anchor at a bridge, you know what I mean? You put your baits over, you'll use a crab or you'll use a mullet, depending on the time of year. But the rest of the state, man, these schools of fish, they go down the beach and they're going north or going south, or in Pat's region, they're going east to west.
They're always moving.
And the key is the boat positioning. So remember this, guys, about your boat. So here we are, here's our beach. We're fishing 9 to 12 feet of water. Here's our new 21-foot chittum. Now, the key, Dave, is you got to remember this. These boats, all the boats, have a pressure wave. Some have less than others, but it's going to create some vibration like this. What I learned from fishing with Pat, and I learned it when I went to fish with Tommy, and I've learned it when I fished with Holiday, is they're all doing the same thing. What they try to do is they got this school of fish that's coming down the beach, going north or south, whichever the time of year. And what they'll do is they use their trolling motor and they get directly in front of that school of fish. Now, as anglers, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw one bait. Could be, most cases, this isn't a crab situation. Now, in Pages, you'll throw a crab into a school as they go by, but you can't troll the crab.
Right.
So please remember this, guys. We're talking about trolling, getting in front of a school of fish, a threadfin, a sardine, a mullet. This is the perfect fish for this. You use your trolling motor to stay in front of this fish. And on places where they're very pressured, you're having sometimes to be 150, 175 feet back behind the boat so that they don't feel that pressure wave. They get more relaxed, and then that's when the bite occurs. If your boat is making a lot of noise because you're running the trolling motor fast and it's going up and down, you got a southwest wind on the west coast and you're crashing into it, guess what? Most likely, those poons are gonna know you're there. There's gonna be a lot of hull slap, and guess what? It ain't gonna be as good. So when you do have these boats, the technical boats that have reverse chime, doesn't put out the pressure wave, you can get a lot closer to them. That's when the guys are coming in there with the fly rods and they're catching them, when most places they don't even fly fish for them.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were fishing 150 to
175 feet. You gotta let it back.
That's further back than tunas.
Yeah, man.
So what kind of baits did you say you were going to be? And what if you were going to throw an artificial bait to one?
So in here, what you could do is you want to throw, certainly something like this Savage mullet would be perfect. You've got the Gulp, these big
paddle tails.
Gulp paddle tails. This is, you know, a silver mullet here. I'm going to take this out of the package. Take that out of the package. Oh, I got it.
Paddle shad.
The paddle shad. Tell me this doesn't look like a mullet. And what you can simply do, if you want, you can put a jig head in his face. I like keeping it simple. You can take and put a circle hook in his face. And remember this, guys, when you're doing this, you got to make sure, Dave will confirm this, it's really important to have enough gap of the hook exposed, so that when the tarpon comes up and bites it, or a snook, this is what you need to remember about circle hook fishing. Make sure the gap in the hook is big enough to where there's plenty of gap exposed so that the hook can hook him in the corner of the mouth.
Right, because that's going to come up to the corner, and we don't want a whole bunch of stuff in that gap to fill up the gap instead of the hooks.
That's correct.
Jaw.
Now, in the Bait Saver model by Eagle Claw Trocar, here's an 8.0 for an example. You'll see how this works. So many times the bait hooks back into the fish, or the hook hooks back into the fish. But this, I built this and designed this to have a keeper so that the hook can't slide up and turn back and go into his gills.
There you go.
Sits just like so.
Nice.
And that's what's so cool about the Trocar bait saver setup. I like throwing 50 to 80 pound. If it's dirty water like you get sometimes over in Flamingo, you can go up to 80. But if it's not, it's real gin clear, remember it doesn't happen until you get the bite, so you might have to go down to 40 or even 30.
For your leader.
But with a circle hook, you still have a chance because most likely he's hooked on the outside of his face. 8-foot rod, definitely you gotta have it because you can throw a lot further. We're gonna load it up with 40 pound X9 braid or X5 braid, and we're gonna kill it.
Beautiful.
That was the fastest 5 minutes of my life.
You said a lot, though.
You did say a lot.
You got a lot out.
A lot of good tips. I hope everyone was taking notes.